Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to read Howard B. Wigglebottom Learns to Listen. It was written by Howard Binkow and illustrated by Susan F. Cornelison. That means Howard wrote all the words. He's the author, and Susan drew all the pictures. She's the illustrator. The name of the book, or title, is Howard B. Wigglebottom Learns to Listen. Let's read and find out more about our main character, Howard. Howard B. Wigglebottom Learns to Listen by Howard Binkow. Meet Howard B. Wigglebottom. Howard is always in trouble at school because, well, Howard just doesn't listen. During story time, instead of quietly listening, Howard bounces around the room. Howard B. Wigglebottom, please sit down, be quiet, and listen. But Howard doesn't listen. Howard B. Wigglebottom, you are bouncing too close to the fan. But Howard doesn't listen. What do you see in the illustrations? Is there a problem? Hey, Howard, watch your step. At lunchtime, his friends try to warn him. But Howard doesn't listen. After lunch, Howard's friend tries to tell him something important. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't look like he's interested. Howard doesn't listen. Look at the illustrations. Does it lead to a problem? On the playground, Howard's teammates try to help him. Keep your eye on the ball, Howard! But Howard doesn't listen. Boink. Is there a problem in this book? In the art room, the teacher reminds the class, kids, try to keep the paint on your paper. But Howard doesn't listen, so his teacher asks him to take a time out. He feels sad. Howard does not like being alone and in trouble. He thinks and thinks about his day. So let's look at his day. His teacher warned him he was bouncing, and he shouldn't be. He should be sitting down, listening to the story. His friends tried to tell him that there was something on the floor and not to walk on it. His friend at the playground was trying to tell him something important. He was supposed to keep the paint on the paper. The ball was coming close to him, and his friends tried to tell him, but he wasn't listening. You're right. Howard makes up his mind. From that moment on, he will try very hard to be the best listener he can be. The next day, Howard does listen to the story during story time. He waits for his turn to talk, and then he asks a question about the story. How do you let your teacher know that you would like a chance to talk? We raise our hand. And then do we just start talking? No, you're right. We have to listen for her to call her name. But it looks like Howard's doing a better job. Howard gets #1 listening star because Howard is really listening. While walking home, Howard uses both his eyes and ears to help stay safe. Howard is really listening. Oh, that's great. Please hang up your backpack and clean up your room now. When Howard gets home, he listens to his mother. Okay, Mom. So he hangs up his backpack and he cleaned up all of his toys in his room. Howard is really listening. He looks happier. So Howard gets extra time to play and have fun. Time for a bedtime story. Please brush your teeth first, Howard. Howard B. Wigglebottom is really listening. Almost all of the time. He didn't put that away in his backpack, did he? Maybe because he was so proud of the change he had made. I'm proud of Howard, too. So when we want to be a better listener, it helps to sit quietly, to use both your eyes and your ears to help you listen. Please don't interrupt. Wait your turn to talk. Try your very best to understand the person speaking. Oh, this is like when we give 5. We have quiet feet. We're sitting quietly. We have eyes on the speaker, listening ears, a quiet mouth, a thinking brain. Raise your hand and ask questions if you don't understand. Remember the rules and the directions. So you have to focus and listen. Pay attention. That means be alert and really know what is happening around you. These things will all help us become a better listener. We can all work on becoming the best listeners we can be. Part of kindergarten is becoming a first-time listener. That means that we listen the first time. We shouldn't have to be told lots of times. We should listen the first time. Thanks for reading this book with me.